I'm Nancy, and I'm here to perform your astrological and tarot reading for February and soon thereafter. Now, I don't know if you can see my table or not. Not really. But I got stuff everywhere. And it's a few things that I want to cover. We have a lot of things going on right now. And you may sense it. You may very well sense that there is a lot going on. You probably don't even know where it's coming from. So we're going to talk about why so much is happening, what's the purpose, what's being asked of us, humanity. And we're just going to see where this goes because it's so much. I would like to break it up in small videos, so I don't know, I might just do a few signs today, this evening, and a few signs another day. So the opening to this video is really key to all signs, whether sun, moon, or rising. And so, as you know, I'm sure you heard of January, I think it's 31st, we will have a blue moon. And so I want to talk a little bit about the blue moon. We also know that there's a lot of energy taking place with Saturn returning home. It's a lot of energy. It is saying something to us. It is asking something of us. It's checking in, I'll say that much. So let's see where I start. Let's start with what is the current astrological energy saying to us? It's saying, hey, at this point in time, the divine has opened up the opportunity or is permitting you, me, every individual in humanity to join our small social network for people that we are familiar with. And as I was breaking that down, I realized it was talking about being around like minds or familiar spirits. And so as you engage these familiar spirits, it's like you are having an opportunity to really get to know them. Not only an individual spirit, but the spirits that are friendly or associated with a particular spirit. Now, I know a lot of times when I speak more in the spiritual realm. So as I move forward, I'm going to try to speak back and forth between the spiritual realm as well as the physical realm, because I don't want you to get it twisted. All things are all areas or dimensions are in play. And why are all the dimensions in play? It's because it's truly about our, me, yours, and everybody in humanity's ascension or descension. And so everything is active, everything is in play, and there's a lot being demanded of us, required of us. We are being tested in some ways and then compelled in other ways, and what's the term? We're being exposed in other ways, et cetera, et cetera. So again, there's a lot going on. So back to what the astrological energy is saying. You are being permitted to socialize with familiar people or familiar spirits. During this time of exchange with these familiar people or familiar spirits, you are literally going through a process. And that process is of getting to know the other's essence, whatever that other is. I'm going to use an example, and I'm going to the extreme so that you will understand what I'm saying. So I can make sure that you understand what I'm saying. An example would be if you are a person that lacks integrity in business, those people that are familiar to you, or those familiar spirits, will be other people associated with your business world, and they too have a similar or familiar spirit, where a person may not move forward in business and integrity. Another may be a person that's wonderful at manipulating account records or books. Another one may have the gift of persuasion, but it's all about the whole group or the whole collective lacking integrity. Now, on the opposite end of the spectrum, an example at the opposite end of the spectrum is that you are a person that does business or owns a business and you move in integrity. The familiar spirits around you, the like minds. You have one over here who's an expert at keeping immaculate accounting records, no flaws, honest and true. While you have another partner who has the gift of persuasion, but does not manipulate people. They give them the accurate information, how it can benefit them. The whole group moves in integrity. That's what I mean by interacting with like minds or familiar spirits. And so, as I mentioned, this is a time when you get to know each of the familiar spirits, each individual familiar spirit within your circle. And these spirits are those that are encased in a person's physical vessel, body, people. And these are also the energies that run y'all environment or runs a person's environment. So, what does it mean to get to know the familiar spirits in your surroundings? Again, you have one that knows how to doctor up some accounting records. You get to know that spirit and how it moves and what it does and why it does what it does. Another who has the gift of persuasion, you get to know that spirit and how it persuades and what motivates it, that kind of thing. And on to the next person and the next person and the next person. The spirit within them as well as the spirit in the environment. You get to know all of the participants. And that also stands true for those on the opposite side of the spectrum where everyone is moving in integrity. You get to meet all the participants, not just the physical body, but you get to interact with their spirit. Now, why are you a part of a particular social circle or a social exchange, hanging with these familiar spirits? It's because you personally, we, want something in particular, whatever that may be. Whatever our goal is, our ambition is. We are devoted to achieving that aim or that goal, that dream, that passion. And these familiar spirits are the people that we feel can help us get there. So as we have our exchanges, we kind of letting it be known what our goal is, our dream, our desire. We feel pretty free saying it. In some ways, there's a challenge. Even though we're free to say it, even though we're free to express it, there's a challenge. I've shared in the past, as I've done astrological readings, is that everybody, me, you, and every individual in humanity has the right to express our fabulous self-expression. That still stands true right now. So while you're in that intimate social circle with those familiar people or spirits, they too are letting the crew know, or the tribe know, or the group know what they want, what they're about, what they're chasing, why they do what they do, And so everything is being put on the table. Everything. So the terms and conditions are being written out. Let me say spiritually written out about what each individual participant's demands are and what they can offer to the group. And they're also writing up the terms and the conditions for their platform, I'll say, their platform, about what that group really stands for. And the examples, both groups stood for business. It was all about business for both groups. That was their platform, their agenda. That's what brings them together. And so this understanding is formulated at this time. Whatever a group's platform is, whatever their agenda is, the outside world will know it. No answers much about it. They'll be able to see the group's agenda. And by seeing the group's agenda, another outside of your group can identify basically which role each individual is playing. Now that might be a little cloudy, but you can kind of figure it out. Now, and let's talk about the group's agenda, any given group's agenda, and the individuals in the group. Let's talk about how the people in the group came together. See, each of the individuals in any given group have had a set of life experiences. All the life experiences have been different, but led to a common theme or goal or aim or hope or ambition. Those individuals throughout their life experience were able to cultivate within themselves particular skills and skill sets and things like that. So everybody has a little something to bring to the group to make it an effective group. And that's why it has to be that like social mingle within the group to learn who does what, who's requiring what, et cetera, those familiar spirits. And the overall agenda or the goal of a particular group is based on their belief system, their philosophies. Yes, their experience, every individual in that group's experience have varied, but it ended up bringing them to one common interest or goal. I should have looked it up. It's like shared. It's where you work together because you have a shared interest. You work together because you have a shared interest. I can't remember what it's called. But if that shared interest does not exist, the participants would leave. But because that agenda, that aim exists, that shared aim, that shared agenda exists, the people stay within the groups, the familiar spirits, and they work together because they have one common goal. At least one common goal. And everybody has a role to play to bring that at least one agenda or goal into existence. And that common goal or agenda is in some way, form, or fashion a reflection of each member of the group. So, understand before all the members came together to create a particular group, a special interest group, maybe we can call it to simplify it, they each had their own pathway to travel, their own journey. And that goal, their collective agenda, always existed or developed at some point in time, key point in time, in each individual's life. And so each individual tried to accomplish this goal or this agenda by themselves or with another group or whatever. And for some, there were some mild successes. Others, it was failure after failure. But whatever the case may be, there was never really any long-standing satisfaction. The time has come now that they are in an effective group to make some things happen. So now they have come together, for the purpose of fulfilling one particular aim, that agenda. Each person plays their part or their role in accomplishing that agenda. Now, as I mentioned, in the past, somewhere along their life journey, each individual, they have attempted to achieve that goal, to satisfy that goal, to reach that goal, the ambition, to fulfill that agenda. They've been there, done that, and have been dissatisfied with the results. So, they continue to move on with the sole purpose of attaining or completing that agenda. So, I'm going to say it. Negotiating with other groups or other people that aren't of a familiar spirit among us, is really not negotiable, not at all. They've come too far. They have invested too much. They have too much interest in something. So they've been there, done that. Now they are fully engaged, truthfully engaged, each individual within a group, those familiar spirits that are learning each other and coming to see what each person brings to the table to satisfy that agenda. And they move forward. Give me a moment because I got all these papers everywhere. And where was I? It was other stuff, papers everywhere. Let's see. Oh. And what is also taking place at this time, while all of this stuff I've talked about is taking place. Now, this is in each individual's life in humanity. We all belong to various groups. Some, a singular group, when you're by yourself, those loners. All the way up into the global or, global level. It could be even the universal level. No limits. Well, yeah, there are limits. The limit is, it has to be within the confines of our structure. What am I trying to say? The higher heavens are not bound by these laws of the astrological energy. So anything within the confines of the laws of the astrological energy are moving or compelled to move in this way. I hope I'm making it make sense. Well, I'm going to just keep on moving. There's too many papers to back down now. Anyway. Now, I think I've done this. So, could you imagine the excitement that people are experiencing having the opportunity to finally bring together or to be a part of a group that has one mind, a like mind? They are familiar spirits. It's possible now to achieve a goal. And not all the responsibility bear upon one person, but the responsibilities and duties are equally distributed to the participants. So individuals within any given group, the specialty group, have a really deep emotional commitment to the group based on what? The ability to reach, once again, to fulfill the agenda or the aim, the goal. And that commitment allows each individual to stay involved and engaged and to do their part toward that one common what? Goal, agenda, aim. Okay. But there are some blockages that exist because there are some differences even among the group, even among the familiar spirits. Because remember, everybody has their own family self-expression. They have their own, motive for wanting to fulfill this agenda. They got their own motives. So at times there is a little friction that may occur within any given group. You know, that can be pretty strange if you're the only one in the group. But I'll move on. Now, but still yet, each individual has had their own personal life experiences, and they are attempting to move forward and satisfy something for themselves. In this case, they have the opportunity again to be a part of a group or unit that shares in the attainment of their overall agenda. The overall agenda will satisfy each individual's need. And the group and the individuals are so committed and devoted to the cause, I'll say, that there is actually a satisfaction in being involved in the experiences associated with putting the group together, learning about each other and what each other has to offer and how they're going to implement their plan to fulfill that agenda. There's a sense of satisfaction. There's also this sense of each person having or being a vital part of that group that has a shared agenda. And again, that part of the individual, what part, the ego part, their source, that thing that really motivates them, is also the point where some conflicts may occur within the unit. But nevertheless, it is a fuel to keep a person or individual within a group motivated. And therefore, the overall group stays motivated and moves forward to execute their plan or their course of action to achieve an agenda. Now, as I mentioned, each individual has something to bring to the table. They have a role to play. And each will execute their role, whatever the terms are that they have to fulfill, with all power and authority. And in order to get or to achieve the goal, the overall goal, the shared goal, it opens up the doorway to ensure negotiation or collaboration amongst the comrades, those familiar spirits, those people in the group. And they're each able to go out into the world and execute their power and their authority on behalf of not only themselves, but the group and the agenda. Now, I remind you, this is somewhat of like big talk. I think I'm making it make sense, but I want you to remember that it's not just on a big scale, it's also on a small individual scale. In some way in your life, this too is unfolding. And another support or motivation for the individuals in the group to stay aligned and working together toward that common goal or agenda is a reflection of how the past works that have been done on an individual basis or within other groups, maybe not as effective, and what was accomplished and how it wasn't satisfactory. But now it's the time to move forward. And again, it's such a devoted energy till it cannot be hidden or shrouded from the others. So it's like whatever the group is, whoever you are, whatever the agenda is spotlighted right now. And hold on, give me a minute. I want to make sure I'm going to say this right. And so it really goes back to the individual, each individual person within any given group, how life has affected and influenced them. Influenced them not only emotionally, but also intellectually or psychologically in some way. And now that individual believes that they must fulfill this agenda or reach this goal. And they move forward because it's like they need this accomplishment in their life to feel like they've truly manifested something in life, not just something, but something that enhances their level of comfort and security and well-being in this life. And so these people, every person, no matter what group they are a part of, moves forward to fulfill that inner need, to satisfy their personal need by working in a group toward a common goal. Now, I want to look at another astrological event that is going to take place. I mentioned it at the beginning of the video, and it's the blue moon. Now I'm going somewhere that's pretty light, and I guess should only be taken with a grain of salt. But I just found that it was interesting what a blue moon is and what it means when this term or these terms are truly broken down. Because all that I just said, all that stuff, actually is like the subdivisions of the blue moon. It's like the blue moon announced, hey, this is about to take place. This is what you're compelled to do. This is how y'all folks gonna move down in that physical realm. So I want to talk about the blue moon, just kind of for entertainment purposes only. Let me see. First, let's talk about what a blue moon is and get an understanding of that. So I went to Wikipedia, and it says, A blue moon is an additional full moon that appears in a subdivision of a year, either the third of 4 full moons in a season, or what we have going on, or we'll have going on soon, a second full moon in a month of the common calendar. 2 full moons in 1 month. And we had our first full moon January 2nd of 2018. And as mentioned, the next will happen Wednesday, January 31st, 2018. Now, I would like to just focus on the moon, the term moon relative to astrological energy, because most of us already know what it means. And so I want to share something that's from Harper's Bazaar, and it's just a definition or a breakdown of the moon. And it says the moon represents your emotions. We know that, but we're going to refer to Harper's Bazaar and www.harpersbazaar. And it says the moon represents your emotions, your inner mood, and the two together strongly influence your emotional mode of operation. That's what we talking about when I was breaking down that astrological energy. We talking about folks' mood of operation. Now, I'm just looking at how Blue Moon was the announcement of the astrological energies. Oh, I forgot to say that I was looking up the astrological energies associated with February 4th, 2018 at 12 noon, New York, New York. I always choose New York, New York, because it's supposed to be like one of the megas of the United States. So, so this blue moon will happen January 31st. This astrological interpretation of mine is for February 4th. So, this blue moon will come before this energy announcing what's taking place. And that's why I thought it would be interesting just to look at what a blue moon is. So let me finish, because I done stopped saying what I was saying and stopped following through on what I was reading. Anyway, it says in the two together, what two? The emotions and their inner mood together strongly influence your emotional mode of operation. And it's E.G. I have here. It says emotional response to circumstances, situation, and people. What else do I have here? Now what I wanted to do is look at the word or the term blue. We think we know about some of these words, and for the most part we do. Basically, gets us through any experiences day to day. But sometimes we take a closer look and pay attention to the symbolism or the different components of the words, like the suffix and et cetera, it takes on a whole new meaning or adds more definition to a particular word. In this case, we're talking about the term blue. We've already defined the moon. We know it has to do with your emotions and your inner feelings and how the two together create your mode of operation, which we're talking about again in the astrological energy. Let me see here. What's up here? Oh, did I did want to read something. I think I put it up over here. Okay, I'm going to read this. It's kind of lengthy, but I liked what it said. So hopefully I can read through it. And it was offered by coloredmeanings.com. And it says, blue is a cool, calming color that shows creativity and intelligence. The color blue is a popular color among large companies, hospitals, and airlines. It is a color that symbolizes loyalty, strength, wisdom, and trust. Blue color meaning is also known to have a calming effect on the psyche. Blue is the color of the sky and the sea, and is often used to represent these images. Blue is a color that generally looks good in almost any shade, and it is a very popular color, especially among men. And it said, okay, well, the rest is just referring to additional colors. So I thought that was cool, and also relative to the astrological breakdown or interpretation I've given, because of here, how blue is a cool and calming color, and it represents creativity and intelligence. When we talk about each individual within a group, these familiar souls that come together, see, they've been there and done that. What have they been there and done? They've attempted to reach an agenda or a goal. I don't know if y'all really picking up on all this instance, so hopefully it's not too disturbing. And so they have had, or a person has, a certain level of creativity or intelligence. Number one, it shows because they actually have that aim or that goal. They have an awareness, intelligence. And they have been moving each individual, you, me, every individual in humanity, with now, I can't jump to the group because I'm talking about in the past, been trying to move to satisfy something. And so we've used our creative spirit attempting to get there. Well, the color blue talks about that. But remember, the color blue really comes into play January 31st, saying this cool, calm energy comes over individuals. Why? Because now they got all that experience. They learned some stuff. And now they're bringing it to the table with others that have been through some stuff, tried some stuff, know some stuff, and bring it to the table. The responsibilities and duties can now be divided amongst all the participants of a group for one goal. And that's really being effective and practical. Also required by Saturn and Capricorn. Anyway, let's talk about the color of blue as a popular color among companies, hospitals, airlines, and men. Now, blue overall is a popular color. But when it comes to companies, remember I said it's not just on a global level, companies, businesses, airlines, international, and men, individuals, that even the color blue is pointing to the range of what is being affected by the astrological energy. The color blue, relative to blue moon, is suggesting the range of what will be affected or influenced by the current or upcoming astrological energy. It says that the color is also associated with loyalty, strength, wisdom, and trust. I go back and talk about how people are going to be a part of a small social circle. And that small social circle are like minds with the goal of fulfilling a particular agenda or goal or ambition. These are familiar spirits. They are familiar with one another. And during my interpretation of the upcoming astrological energy, it talks about each individual being devoted to the cause, being devoted to the group because of the cause, loyalty. It talks about the strength. How is strength represented or shown? The blue is representation of strength, and strength will be shown in the coming together of like minds. You know, they say two brains are better than one. Well, three brains are better than two. So it is a abundance of strength that is developed. And then it talks about the blue is symbolic of wisdom. Wisdom, where is wisdom relative to the astrological interpretation? The wisdom has come through each individual. me, yours, any individual that may join a group or collective or familiar spirits to move forward on an aim or agenda. Those life experiences that we have had before getting to the group, those experiences have developed wisdom. See, wisdom is a projection, I just heard something, I apologize. Wisdom is when you gather information, and when the appropriate time comes, you use it so that you can do what? Manipulate circumstances and situations in your favor. The magician. So I'm not going to go through every single part of that first paragraph, but just the color blue itself suggests the upcoming energy that will be active in February, upcoming astrological energy that will be unfolding in February. Now, next paragraph is, blue is sincere, it's reserved and quiet, and do not like to make a big deal out of things or attract too much attention. Right there, that kind of tells you, again, it's going to be a level of secrecy, like special interest groups, whether it's yours, mine, or another set of people's groups. There's going to be this level of silence, moving on on a stealth level, but highly active. That's another sign of like the Capricornian energy. Many of them, especially when working with a focus, with a goal, they're very quiet, very quiet. Blue hates confrontation and likes to do things its own way. Which way? The group's way. From a color psychology perspective, the color blue is reliable and responsible and radiates security and trust. You can be sure that the color blue can take control and do the right thing in difficult situations. The blue color needs order, planning in its life, including the way it lives and works. And here we're talking about the color blue giving us clues to the energies that will take place during this astrological the unfolding of this astrological energy that will begin in February. That the individual, if they are their own group, from the individual level all the way up to the global level or mass level or corporate level, these groups are going to be dedicated. And they are going to trust in each other. They're familiar spirits. And people are going to be reliable, and they're going to play their role. And they're going to take control, as it says here, in situations, difficult situations. They're going to do the right thing. What is the right thing here? Whatever is necessary to fulfill the group's agenda. That's the right thing. That's what they're devoted to. That is what is their own personal motivation. That is what's compelling them. They need it. Each individual of a group needs the ultimate goal met. The agenda must be fulfilled because the fulfillment of that agenda satisfies each individual, something in each individual. It brings them a level of security, physical and emotional security in this world. Okay, a little bit more, just a little bit more. So I know that there's going to be another part. I think after this, I'm going to break down each sign and what's taking place. But let me finish this about the color blue, because I just thought it was interesting. It says, explore blue color meaning. Blue seeks peace and tranquility and promotes physical and mental relaxation. The color blue reduces stress and creates a sense of calmness, relaxation, and order. Try and lie on your back and look up at the blue cloudless skies. Blue lowers metabolism. The paler the blue color, the more free we feel. Blue color meaning is known to be good at one-way communications, especially communications with your voice. It's the teacher, the public speaker. The color blue is your helper, savior, your friend in need. The blue colors, success is defined by the quality and quantity of its relationships. What relationships? Say that I want to do it with the groups. Okay. It's a giver, not a taker. Blue likes to build strong, trusting relationships and is deeply hurt if the trust is betrayed. The blue color is not a good color when applied to food, since there are too few blue foods items in the nature, and that suppresses appetite. That was irrelevant, maybe. We look at it closely, but okay, I'm gonna move on. I went to another source here on the internet, and it was www.thefactsite.com. And I'm still talking about the color blue. Just ride the wave with me. I just found some of these things relative to the color blue highly interesting. And give me a minute. Oh, I thought my computer was going to freeze up. Okay, just a few more minutes. Anyway, these are some, I guess you can call them fun facts associated with the color blue. Now remember, right now, at this point in time in the video, I am defining what it is to have a blue moon and how it is an announcement of events to come, ways of functioning, especially on an emotional level, and how they say, and from the mode of operation, how a person will be operating. Now listen, when it comes to blue, is a cool color. We've already talked about that in the last article. It's the color of the sky and sea, yeah, and it symbolizes stability, loyalty, confidence, intelligence, and peace. We talked about it in the last article. Now, I want to read some of these facts associated with the color blue. 1, studies show that weightlifters are able to handle heavier weights in blue gems. Why do I think that's relevant? Because under that astrological energy of the blue moon, it is giving strength to the participants to move forward on their agenda. The astrological energy spoke about initially about how divine was permitting each individual to be a part of a group of familiar spirits. They have strength. Remember, it's better to have 2 minds than 1, or 3 minds than 2. Here it is, again, talking about how the color blue adds a level of strength, even in a gym. I repeat, studies show weightlifters are able to handle heavier weights in blue gems. The next, in factories, blue often marks equipment to be repaired. I found that interesting because, again, blue moon is symbolic of things to occur, happenings, feelings, modes of operation, motivations. It's what it's saying. And just based on these little fun facts, it still supports or reiterates what the blue moon is announcing to the world. If in factories, the blue marks equipment that needs to be repaired, each group of familiar spirits have come together to work together, consolidating their energy, being more effective in order to reach a particular goal, to fulfill an agenda. And this agenda that they are moving, or a person will move to fulfill, is something that they tried to do in the past, and it was dissatisfaction. We can say that that inability to move forward and fulfill that goal or agenda was broken. It needed to be fixed. The pathway needed to be fixed. And in the month of February, the development of these groups of like minds is the repairing of the broken equipment. The last sentence I just read was talking about. Anyway, the next one is, it is the color most preferred by men. We discussed that last article. Then it has a biblical meaning. I like this biblical meaning because it talks about heavenly grace. Heavenly grace. So imagine this blue moon on January 31st as a sign from the divine, from the all, letting us know what's about to take place, why it's about to take place, who it's about to take place with, etc., etc. This is heavenly grace. I'm giving you heads up. I like that. Anyway, now, this kind of goes in the opposite direction, but I still find it equally as interesting, and I'll tell you why in a moment. It says in India, blue is thought to bring bad luck and is associated with mourning. And then the next says, blue is traditionally associated with pain in China. Now, I think that's interesting because I just announced maybe a week or so ago that I was about to start a series on depression. And I am going to move to complete that series, but there are so many avenues to cover, and I don't want to cover it from the same perspective that others have, that you may have heard before. I want to hit it from a different angle so that we can really make it make sense and break it down and hopefully destroy depression. But I bring that series that I will be working on about depression up because it seems right here that the color blue is associated with depression. I mean, not depression, with pain and with mourning, sadness. Let me go to the last one because the last two say that the phase to feel blue, I didn't write it down. The phrase to feel blue means to feel sad or unhappy. And the next says the phase once in a blue moon means an event that occurs infrequently. So we know that this astrological energy, number one, is an infrequent occurrence. The planets, the way they're lining up now, could have lined up like this, what takes Saturn 30 years to come around, takes Uranus 84 years, we got Jupiter moving every year. So, you know, it hasn't been lined up like this in a very, very long time. So it's an infrequent alignment that's going to bring about a set of circumstances in this physical realm. And you and every individual in humanity, including the groups, emotional responses or mode of operation are unique to this astrological alignment. How can I say that? Because last time astrological alignment happened like this, whatever it happened a long, long time ago, the people weren't the same. This is a new people and a new motivation. Most of us, as mentioned in previous videos, it's a narcissistic energy. So now this is just say, we're going to say this to kind of, make it easy. If humanity has a narcissistic disposition under this blue moon energy, it's going to bring about a set of results. And those results or those pushes to fulfill a agenda, many agendas, many groups, not only many groups on different levels, from the individual to the collective. There are going to be people or other groups push that. And so that's why I thought it was interesting that the color blue, relative to certain cultures, were associated with mourning and pain. Another thing that I find interesting, I'm almost done, y'all. I'm almost done. You gotta come back to watch the video that deals with your sign and all this information. Okay. There you go. Give me a minute. Yeah. Okay. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna go a few more minutes. This is gonna be over an hour because I'm trying to give you all the information that I've been picking up on that is going to directly affect you. I don't care who you are, what side you are. I mean, we'll go into detail there, but how these astrological energies, these experiences that we have in our world affect us, even on an individual basis. It affects us on an individual basis, it affects us collectively, especially it affects us on the spiritual one. And so I'm just trying to pull out some of the major astrological energies that are at play that are going to affect us directly now and in the near future. So anywho, other fun facts I want to talk about relative to the color blue is that bluebirds cannot see the color blue. Owls are the only bird who can see the color blue. One more. Mosquitoes are attracted to the color blue twice as much as any other color. Why do I believe that those statements are interesting, if they are facts, as offered by www.thefactsite.com, is because I might be a little bluebird. You might be a little bluebird. Or any other individual in your humanity might be a bluebird. And that statement just said, bluebirds can't see the blue color. And that blue color is representing all that is creating the mode of, operation for those special interest groups, those like-minded folks, those familiar spirits that are working together. It means that some of us will not be able to see what is headed our way. Now, that statement I made stands true relative to the mosquitoes as well. I can say that maybe I or you or another person, if we're not a bluebird, maybe we're a mosquito. And we are more attracted, twice as attracted to blue than any other color. And that would suggest that some people, mosquito people, are attracted to groups, special interest groups, people of like minds of similar spirits, more than they are any other color, any other cause or interest or whatever. They have an agenda, and so they go after it. They see that the opportunity opens up. What opportunity? The blue opportunity. To move in a mode of operation in order to fulfill an agenda. So they go to it. And others, the bluebirds, little bluebirds, can't even see that there is something developing and something coming their way. The last one I like to focus on, and I'm going to tell you why I think it's relevant, is that owls are the only birds who can see the color blue. Now, you tell me, what are owls normally related to the wise old owl, wisdom. You know, watching and seeing and processing the wise old owl. Owls are traditionally related to being wise. And so it's just that owls, maybe I'm an owl or you are an owl, or any individual in a humanity is an owl, and they are seeing, they are studying, they are understanding, and coming to gain the information and coming to understand what's being developed, what's being formulated, what is going to soon be heading their way. They can see the color blue. They can see the mode of operation developing amongst like minds. What is being put into play? And therefore, just maybe, the owls can do something about it. Maybe fly away or be around. I don't know. But I just thought that was interesting. And I just want to repeat what I just shared, because that was a lot. That's been over an hour. What was I talking about at the beginning of this video? I was talking about the upcoming astrological energy. I performed an interpretation the way I see it and understand it. And it just talks about how individuals will become a part of a group of similar, familiar spirits, like minds. Why? Because it is something going on emotionally inside that needs to be satisfied. They have tried to fulfill that need, which will give them a sense of peace and security in life, and haven't been able to fulfill it to a level that has been satisfactory to them. Now the time has come that they can join with familiar spirits, like minds. And all of those like minds or familiar spirits work together. Each individual in a group bringing to the table something to work toward the fulfillment of that goal and agenda. But either way, however it's done, it's not how it's done, that's how I say it's going to be done. And it's about the individual being satisfied. But it just takes that group to move forward. And we're just talking about how that group is dedicated because of that shared need to fulfill that agenda, to bring about the fulfillment or completion of the agenda. After I spoke about the astrological energy, I went to start talking about the term blue moon and what the blue moon means, and how the blue moon is due to come January 31st, 2018, and how the blue moon talks about the emotional nature of an individual, and how the emotional nature affects a person's or contributes to a person's mode of operation. We also talked about in this video the color blue and the significance or the symbolism that one single word carries relative to the upcoming events. Now, before I close this video out, I want to add another layer, just one more layer. You can hold on and ride the rest of this wave with me. And I want to talk about all of those planets that were backed up in Capricorn when Saturn returned home. What does it mean? Now, we know about all of that. See, that's going on. I say we got a lot going on. We got a lot going on. Every realm is activated, and we in the midst of it. You want to know where your life's going. These are things that you have to take into consideration. So let's talk about what does it mean for Saturn to have returned home. Well, we know that Saturn does a few things. Saturn's a busy energy, and Saturn can transit. It does transit. It transits for everybody. We know that Saturn has a return for each individual every 28 to 30 years. And we also know that a person can be ruled by Saturn, or a sign, astrological sign, is ruled by Saturn. Those two signs are Capricorn and Aquarius. We also know that Saturn just returned home to his very own sign of Capricorn. So what does this mean? What does it really mean? What we're talking about here relative to this energy is that Saturn has been teaching us all. And teaching us at different degrees. Some people, like Capricorn and Aquarius, direct teachings from Saturn. While others may have had indirect teachings. You witnessed something, you saw something, you know something, but Saturn was teaching. And Saturn has come through your life, has continued to move through your life, slowly teaching you. Now he's home, and he's checking on us all to see have we learned what he was moving. He who Saturn was moving to teach us. Excuse me, Scrappy. Every time I do a video, I have to say, Scrappy, go to bed. I apologize. Was moving to teach us. Because these teachings of Saturn, I believe, are going to be key. Now, I haven't looked at anything else because, as you see, I have to. You can't really see. I have a table full of papers. But these are just some key energies, astrological energies, and how I see them very influential and how they can work together to either support our evolution or ascension or our descension. And so, just in short, Saturn's teachings have been, again, either directly or indirectly, because you witnessed something, you seen something, you know something, you heard something, whatever the case may be. However, Saturn was teaching you that, hey, you got to be ordered, disciplined, structure, planning, being serious, being mature, you know. And so in our personal lives, to me, it will really, the experiences that an individual has really will show if you have been learning the lessons of Saturn. Because those teachings will be not only significant to your life as an individual, but those teachings are going to be significant in your life relative to the overall picture, the global stuff. And Saturn is one of our defenses, I do believe, to lower vibrational dark energies seizing control of this material world and dragging us or leading us to experience a world of increased difficulty. So I don't know if that made sense. I just know that the teachings of Saturn are significant to your life, not only your individual life, but it is your individual life, but relative to the rest of the world, as well as your intimate life. But we're going to talk about that a little more in detail. This video is now well over an hour, so I'm going to cut it off. And again, I ask you to tune in the next couple of days and watch the video for your sun, moon, or rising sign and find out what's in store for you for the month of February of the year 2018. Thank you for coming to Can Angels Fly. I really appreciate you. Until next time, bye.